Alright everybody, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at collection types, specifically arrays, sets, and dictionaries. So let's get right into it. So what are the differences between an array, a set, and a dictionary? So arrays are ordered collection of values which can contain duplicates. And sets are unordered collections of unique values, meaning that each element can only appear once. And dictionaries are unordered collections of key value pairs. I highlighted the important words in red, just pretty much just take away from that. And when should you use each one? Well, arrays are best used when order matters and you'll need duplicates, or you may have to account for any duplicates. So let's say you're keeping track of a race. Well, the order of which the contestants finish, that matters. And there can be contestants with the same name, so you have to account for those duplicates. And there may be racers who finish at the exact same time, so that's another duplicate you have to account for. And for sets are best used when the order doesn't matter, but you don't want any duplicates. So if you have some video games that you want to play and the order you play them in doesn't matter, you can store them in a set. And there's a pretty good chance you're not going to have a duplicate video games in your backlog that you need to get to, so you can still use a set for that. And for dictionaries are best used when you need something with a key value pair. So let's say if you were keeping score, right? People were playing a video game and they finish a video game and they get a score. So you can create a key that has the person's name on it and then has a value that has their total score. If this isn't making that much sense right now, don't worry, it'll make more sense when we get into some examples right now. Okay, so we're starting off here with arrays. So I've already created an array of numbers. So one thing to note, arrays are created using square brackets. And all I did was put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I also included a duplicate of 1 and 2. So an array can pretty much only hold the same data types unless you cast it as an array of any. So let me go ahead and show you that. So we type here some array is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we put in 5 here. Xcode is going to complain to us. If we cast it as any, it'll allow us to actually use it like this, but just for best practice, it's best to not mix up the data types inside your array, especially to keep it as whether you're using integers, whether you're using floats or strings or whatever the case may be, keep it as one data type. So we can go ahead and comment this out. So, and then you can print out the number of items in an array using the .count property. So we just go ahead and do print number array .count. It'll tell us how many there are in here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items here, and we got the number 8 printed out. Now let's say you want to append something to an array. You just want to add a value to it. So what we can do is do number array dot append, and we'll append the number, let's say 9. And it's going to append it at the end of the array. So if we print this out again, we can see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. And at the end, now we have a 9. Okay, now let's say you wanted to append an item at a certain index number. Well, we can definitely do that. But first, let's talk about index on an array. So let's say we wanted to print out the last element here, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say we want to print this out. Let me comment this out first. Let's say we want to do print number array, and then using another square brackets, we can point to the 8th index here. So we can do 8, and we go ahead and print it out. Now you can see we're getting an error. Now why is that? We do know that it exists, and if we count them, we do have 8 elements in here. So why is it not printing out? Well, the reason is because arrays don't start counting from 1, they start counting from 0. So if we go here, the number 1 will actually be in the index 0. So we start counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will actually be index number 7. And if we put 7 here, you can see that we get printed out the number 2. So that's how indexes work in arrays, and that's important because when we do number dot insert, and we want to insert a value, let's say the number 7, well, we have to give it a specific index to put it at. So we can just go ahead and let's say we want to make it the last element here. We can do at index 8. And then if we go ahead and run this, we can see here that we have a 7 here. Okay, let's say you want to get the specific index number of an item in an array. So let's say we want to know what index number this number 3 was at. What we would do is just do number array dot first index of, and then afterwards we will put in the number 3. And before I run this, it's going to be 0, 1, 2. So we can expect 2 to be printed out. And when I run it, we get index number of 2. And remember the 7 that we inserted? Well, we can go ahead and get that 2, number array dot first index of, and then even though it's not here in our array, we did insert it, so we can just go ahead and type in 7, and we should get the 8th index because that's where we inserted it at. And as you can see here, we do get that 8th index. Now, what if you wanted to remove a certain item in an array? Let's say you don't have any use for it anymore. Well, that's easy too. You can do number array dot remove, and then you'll specify which index number you want to remove. So let's say we don't want this 1 anymore, right? So we can just do at 0. When we print out our new number array, we can see that 1 is no longer included in here. It starts at 2 now because we removed it. So that covers a lot of the basics now, but there are 2 more cool things I want to show you. I want to show you shuffle, and I want to show you sort. So to shuffle anything is when you're going to take all of these items in the array and basically do what the name implies. It's just shuffle them. So we'll do number array dot shuffle, and then we print out that array. We can see here now that usually we'll start off at, well, the 1 isn't there anymore because we removed it. So it'll start off at 2, 3, 4, 5, but now it's all over the place at 3, 1, 7, 2. And if we were to go ahead and also do a sort, so we'll do number array dot sort, and then print out that number array, then we will get all the numbers in order. So we still have that 1 here, remember, because arrays can contain duplicates. So we have that 1, then we have another 2 here, a 2 here, a 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that 7 that we inserted. So we have that, and including the 9, which we appended a while ago. So those are some of the neat tricks you can do with arrays. And just to emphasize it again, if order matters and if you're going to need duplicates or you may have to account for duplicates, it's best to use an array. But other than that, let's go ahead and move on over to sets. Okay, so if you remember, sets are different than arrays because the items aren't stored in any order and it doesn't allow for duplicate values. So here I just created a set. To create the set, you would just do var numbers. You can also do let if you want it to be a constant. Then you just write the word set followed by parentheses followed by square brackets, and you would just enter the values you want. Now remember, it can only take the same data type. So right here we've provided it with integers. If I were to try and put a string in here, so let's go ahead and try that. Xcode is going to yell at me because it's expecting an integer because that's the data we've been giving it. So remember, sets can only have 1 data type. And if we go ahead and print out this set, you'll notice down here that the order is different. So we have 3, 4, 2, 6, 1, 5 compared to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you know something else, at the end we have 1 and 2 here, but we also have 1 and 2 here, yet it only appears once on the bottom. And that's because sets don't allow for duplicate. Now this isn't the only way to make a set. You can also do var names, but you do have to explicitly declare that it is a set. So you would just put set here. And once you do that, you don't need the parentheses anymore. You can just do square brackets. So I can put names here of, let's say, Ashley, John, and Tom. And if we go ahead and print that out, we successfully print it out with no problems. And just like arrays, we can also insert values into the set. So if I go and put numbers dot insert, I can go ahead and insert the number 9, and I'll go ahead and print that out. You can see that the number 9 has been added into here. And we can also just as easily remove values. So I can do names dot remove, and then I would just type in which specific one I want to remove. So let's say I want to remove Tom. I can go ahead and put Tom in there, and then I'll print out the names. And we should only get Ashley and John back. And we do. And there's one more you can also do, is the remove all. So if you don't need the values anymore, you can do numbers dot remove all. Go ahead and print out the numbers, and we'll have an empty set. Now, if you want to iterate through all the values in a set, you can do it the same way you would as an array, just using a for loop. So we'll just do for number in numbers, and then we can just print out all the numbers in there. Let's go ahead and comment this out. That way our array isn't empty. And then when we print it out, we get all the values in our number set. And we can do some other cool tricks. So we can actually combine sets. So I'll go ahead and create 2 new sets. This one's going to be var even numbers. And we'll do 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. We'll do var odd numbers. And this will be of 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So if we want to combine these two so that way we can get them all together, we can do something like let total equals even numbers dot union, and then in here we will put our odd number set. So do odd numbers, and we print out that total. Both of our sets have been combined into a single set. Now the last couple things I want to go over are some pretty useful methods for sets. Specifically, we're going to go over is subset, is superset, is disjoint. We're going to go over intersection. We're going to go over subtracting. We're going to go over symmetric difference as well. All right, and to keep on proceeding, we're going to have to create 2 new variables. So we're going to do var number set1 is a set of these specific numbers. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll do var number set2 is a set of, we'll do 1, 2, 5, and 7. All right, with this now we can start going with subset. So what is a subset? Pretty much a subset just determines whether all the values of a set are contained in the set we specified. So what does this mean? So we'll go ahead and do numbers set1, and we're going to find out if that's a subset of number set2. So do is subset of number set2. So it's going to see if all the values that are present in this set are also present in this set. So we'll go ahead and run this. And we can see that's false because we have 3 and 4, and those values aren't present in this. So it's not a subset. If we were to go ahead and add those here, 3 and 4, and we run this again, then we will get true because all those values are contained in here as well. So now let's move on to is superset. So is superset pretty much just determines also whether a set contains all of the values in the specified set. So this time it's going to check every single value. So we can do also number set 1 dot is superset of number set 2. And you can see when we print out it's false because this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this only has 1, 2, 5, and 7. And even if we were to add right here a 3 and a 4, this will still fail because this doesn't contain a 7. Now I understand if this is still a bit confusing, so let me go ahead and try to clarify it a bit more. So let me go ahead and shorten down this set and keep it with just 3 integers. And here I'll shorten this down to just keep 4 integers. So if we were to run this now, this will return false and this will return true. So just to explain this a bit further, is subset is going to check whether all the values of number set 1 is in number set 2. So it's comparing it. So it's going to say, okay, 1 is here, 2 is here, 5 is here, but 3 isn't here. So this is false. Not all the values in this set are contained in this set. Now, on the other hand, is it a superset? It's going to check to see if all the values of number set 2 are in number set 1. So 1 is here, 2 is here, and 5 is here. And even though 3 is not here, all the 3 integers in this set are present in here. So that's why this returns true. So hopefully that makes a bit more sense now. Okay, now let's take a look at is disjoint. So is disjoint is pretty much when no values are in common. Well, when the sets have no values in common. So if we were to do this right now, we'll do number set 1 is disjoint with number set 2. This is going to return false. Because you can see we have 1, 2, 3 numbers in common. However, if we were to get rid of these 3 integers here and leave number set 1 with just a integer of 3, and we ran this now, we would see that this returns true because 3 is now located anywhere in this set. So there's no values that these two sets have in common. So that's pretty much is disjoint. Okay, now let's take a look at intersection. So what is intersection? It pretty much is going to return a new set containing the values that are common in both sets that you give it, pretty much. So if we were to do let new set is a number set 1 and it's dot intersection of number set 2, and then we print out that new set, you can see that we will get absolutely nothing in return because this doesn't have anything in common. However, if we were to switch it to 1, 2, and 4 and then print it out again, we will get 1 and 2 back. So it just goes through both sets, sees which values it has in common, and brings them back in a brand new set. So let's go ahead and look at subtracting now. So subtracting is pretty much a set that contains all the elements of the first set, but it removes all the elements that also belong to the second set. Okay, so how does this work? So we'll do print number set 1 dot subtract number set 2. And then we'll also do the reverse just so we can see how it works both ways. Subtract number set 1. And then when we print them both, we can see here that we get 4 and 5. Now, why is that? Well, this is going to look over here and say, okay, we have 1 and 2 in common, so we can discard these. And I have a 4 and you don't have a 4. So let's go ahead and return that 4. So that's why it prints it out here. And the same thing for number set 2. It's going to go in here and say, okay, we have 1 and 2 in common, but we don't have a 5 in common. So let's go ahead and return that 5. So that's pretty much how subtracting works. It's going to compare them. It's going to discard any duplicates, and it's going to bring you back like the value that's unique to that set. And last but not least, let's go ahead and take a look at symmetric difference. So symmetric difference is pretty much a set that contains all elements which are in either of the sets, but not both of them. So if we print out number set 1 and symmetric difference of number set 2, you'll see that it prints out 4 and 5. Now that's because they have the same values from 1 and 2, but this set number set 2 does not contain 4 and number set 1 does not contain 5. So it's going to return those because those are unique values to each set, and it's just going to discard the duplicates. So that pretty much wraps up sets. Now let's go ahead and take a look at dictionaries. Okay, so over here in our playground, I created a couple of dictionaries. So to create a dictionary, you can just go ahead and do var or let, followed by your variable name, and afterwards you'll put in a data type with a colon followed by another data type. If you want to add multiple keys and values, you can just go ahead and separate them using a comma. And remember, that's how dictionaries are created. They use a key here and a value, and they don't have to be of the same type. So here I have a string and an integer. Right here I have a string and a string, int and int. I have a double and a string. So you can go ahead and mix and match as you please. So let's go ahead and, for tutorial purposes, we'll go ahead and stick with our player and score dictionary. So pretty much if you just want to go ahead and print out the value of a dictionary, you can just go ahead and type the name of the dictionary followed by open and close square brackets, and then you just go ahead and type in the key that you want here. So let's say I want to print out ed score. I can just go ahead and type in ed, and if I run this, well, over here it'll give me the value of 3000. And just keep in mind, you do want to make sure that the key you type in is valid, because if it's not in here, so let's say I do player and score, but I accidentally misspell Melissa, I forget to put in the second S, well, when I run this, all I'm going to get is nil. So it's important that when you're typing in the key that you type it in correctly. And if you want to add in a new key and value into your dictionary, it's as simple as just putting in player and score. You can go ahead and put in another name. So let's do Samantha. And afterwards, you'll just give it a value. So let's just say her score is 2000. And if I go ahead and print out the player and score now, we can go ahead and see that Samantha's right over here in the dictionary with a value of 2000. Okay, so moving right along, if we wanted to, let's say, change the value of a key, let's say Jason over here, he replayed and he got a higher score. What we can do is player and score, make sure we access his key, so by putting in Jason, and then afterwards we just assign him a new score. So we can do a score of 4500 this time. And if we run this, we can see that his score is at 4500. And there's another way you can do this as well. So let's say you want to do player and score dot update value. So then you will give a new value of, let's say we're going to change Melissa, right? So let's say we're going to give her a score of 1000. and we're going to give it the key of Melissa. And if we go ahead and print this out, score, go ahead and comment this out so we only have one line that prints out. We can see where is Jason at. He is right over here at the beginning, and as you can see, his score did change to 4,500. And Melissa, her score changed from 1,000. I mean, from 800 to 1,000. So those are two ways you can go ahead and update the value of a dictionary. So let's go ahead and see how you can remove a key value pair from a dictionary. And there's two ways you can do this. You can do player and score, and then afterwards you can type in the key. So let's say we want to remove Max, right? And then afterwards you just set this to nil. And if we go ahead and print out the player and score again, we can go ahead and see that there's a missing key value pair, and that key value pair that's missing is the one we remove, which is Max. And there's another way you can remove a key value pair, and that's doing player and score dot remove value for key, and then you just type in the key name. So you can do, let's say we want to remove Jessica, and just print this out again. And you can see in our third line we're missing not only Max, but we're also missing Jessica, because those are the two key value pairs that we removed. Alright, now I want to go ahead and show you how to iterate over a dictionary. So to do that, we're going to do a for loop. So we do for key value in player score, and we'll just go ahead and print. I'll do string interpolation, so I'll do the key, and then I'll go ahead and do value, and just to make this a little easier, I'll do score, and here I'll put in name. And I'll go ahead and print this out. Let me comment this out, that way our console log isn't that full. And if I go ahead and run this, you can see that we have the keys and the value pairs all printed out together. And you don't have to name this key and value. If I go ahead and change it to something like name and score, which makes more sense if you're working with other people and they're going to be looking at your code, this will work just as well. Alright, the last thing I want to show you is how to append the keys and values of a dictionary to an array and to a set. If you watched my Bitcoin price tracker video, then you already saw how we appended the keys and values to an array. But if you haven't, it's perfectly fine. We'll go ahead and do it anyways. So here we'll just create an array. So I'll do var name array, and it's going to be a type string, and we'll make an empty array, and var score array, and this one's going to hold an integer, and we'll go ahead and make it empty. And then we'll do for name score in player and score, and then we'll do name array dot append, and we'll do name, and then we'll do score array dot append, and then we'll do score. And if we go ahead and print out the name array and print out the score array, and let me go ahead and comment this out. We can go ahead and see that we have successfully printed out all the keys and all the values. Now to do it with a set, it's pretty much almost the same thing. So we'll go ahead and do var names is a set and string, and we'll make it empty in the beginning. By the way, this is how you create an empty set. And we'll go ahead and do for name score in player score, and we'll do names dot insert, not append, dot insert, and then we'll put in name. And same thing here, we'll do scores dot insert and then score, and then we'll go ahead and print out names and print out scores, and we'll go ahead and comment all this out. If we run this, we'll go ahead and see that it works just as well. Well, alright, that does it for today's video. I hope you found today's video useful and you learned something new. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe for future content. And if you have any questions or any recommendations of videos you would like to see, go ahead and drop those down below in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next video.